Time for business now. We're going to start with a look at the latest developments of the Federal Reserve and the US Central Bank as well.
The independent institution in charge of setting the world's largest economy's monetary policy has been under attack by the Trump administration, with the U.S. president once again breaking with presidential norms by constantly demanding that it lower interest rates. His administration has also attempted to dismiss one of the Fed board's governors, Lisa Cook, for alleged mortgage fraud. She's challenged that move and sued the Trump administration, calling their actions a power grab that could cause irreparable harm to the U.S. economy. And now an appeals court has officially blocked the White House from removing her from her post while that lawsuit proceeds. This means unless Trump asks the Supreme Court to step in, that she will be attending the Federal Reserve's highly anticipated September meeting, which starts later this Tuesday, with a decision on a potential interest rate cut due on Wednesday.
Comes as the Trump administration, though, will have a new, rather friendlier face sitting on the board of that Fed meeting.
The U.S. President's economic advisor, Stephen Miran, has been confirmed as a new board member by the Senate after a vote on Monday evening, a vote that largely followed party lines, 48-47. This after Republicans fast-tracked the nomination so he could attend the meeting. He's replacing Adriana Kugler, who'd been appointed by Biden after she suddenly announced her departure over the summer. During a Senate hearing ahead of the vote, he'd said he will take an unpaid leave of absence from his role at the White House Council of Economic Advisors in order to join the Fed, a move described as a threat to the institution's independence by Democrats. Let's take a listen to Stephen Miran defending his independence during that hearing and to Democratic Senate leader Chuck Schumer ahead of the vote on Monday night.
If I'm confirmed to this role, I will act independently, as the Federal Reserve always does, based on my own personal analysis of economic data, my own personal analysis of the effects of economic policies upon the economy, and act based on my judgment of the best economic policy possible.
Miran will be nothing more than Donald Trump's mouthpiece at the Fed. He has no independence, no sympathy for American families and businesses suffering from his policies, and a fundamental misunderstanding of how the American economy works.
So what then, Charles, should we actually expect from that Federal Reserve meeting then?
Well, markets are predicting there will be a rate cut, one of 25 basis points. So going from 4.5% to 4.25%. Donald Trump's predicted a big cut, so he's pressuring for more. The reason they're likely going to cut rates is because of weakening job growth in the country. And full employment is part of the Fed's mandate. But the other part of its mandate is ensuring inflation sticks to the 2% mark. And that's where there's an issue. Since the beginning of the year and since Trump's taken office, inflation has been sticky, meaning it's not dropping to the desired level, even ticking up in August to its highest level of the year so far at 2.9%. According to economists, this is partly due to Trump's policy of slapping tariffs on all of the U.S.'s trade partners, a tax that is then reflected on prices for consumers. Keeping interest rates high as they are is a way to make sure inflation stays under control. But lowering rates is often seen as a way to stimulate the economy and therefore create jobs. This conundrum of high inflation and slow job growth is what is called stagflation, and it's a central bank's nightmare, especially when it's coupled with political interference.
Well explained. Thanks, Charles. Let's move on now with the check on the markets for you.
Well, we're seeing European shares opening lower this Tuesday, contradicting predictions ahead of the open in the futures. Investors eagerly awaiting that Fed decision on Wednesday and any pronouncements on the long-term trajectory of U.S. monetary policy.
Something different to end the business news now. We're going to look at the economic impact of all that unrest that we saw last week in Nepal.
Nepali anti-corruption protesters may have ousted their unpopular government with the situation returning to calm, but for business owners, the unrest couldn't have come at a worse time. The nation is just entering its peak tourism season, and Nepal's vital tourism sector is already seeing the results of violence that wounded over 2,000 people and left 72 dead. Luke Schrager reports.
Rather than tourists in Kathmandu, it's those back home who've been worried following Nepal's deadliest protests in decades.
Our family and our friends, they told us, come back home as early as possible. But we never had a problem of insecurity of anything.
Well, our flight got cancelled, so that was a worry because we're doing a tour. but we got booked straight back on.
The Himalayan nation, though, is just hitting its peak tourism season, which lasts until December, and the fears abroad have translated into cancellations just when they were needed most.
I live here, then I have to suggest, please don't travel right now. The situation is not good. 1 month booking got cancellation. The government of different country want to protect their citizenship, so they suggest don't travel right now.
1.2 million annual visitors to Nepal contribute around 8% to its GDP of over 36 billion euros. Arrivals, though, have currently fallen by nearly a third. And while officials were hoping an end to the protests would mean a pickup in numbers, they were realistic about the scale of the work that now needed to be done to restore Nepal's image.
But most of the visitors, they are inquiring about the situation of Nepal. A few hotels are damaged, which might give a negative message to not only the visitors but the investors as well.
For now, a question mark sits over the stability of Nepal's future government. Elections are currently set for next March.
That's it for the business news, Stuart.
Charles, thanks very much. Charles Pellegrin, our business editor.